Greetings and welcome, or welcome back as the case may be. Today is Tuesday, so it's time for another reading. So I've picked another story. This one's actually been published. It can be found in the book, the anthology, Return to Effham Falls, Tales of Lost Souls. And it is published by the Moorhead Friends Writing Group, one of the two writing groups that I belong to. And I highly recommend the book. A lot of good stories in it. One of them is mine, if I might say so. I think it's a good story. You be the judge of that as we go through this one. Now, I will give a trigger warning. My sister read this one and told me that, trigger warnings are a thing. It does get into some heavy material, some graphic scenarios and situations, and it may not be comfortable for a lot of people. So, I'm going to say right now, if you have issues with some hard subjects like sexual assault, please turn the video off. I really want you here, but at the same time, I don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable or triggered by a story that I've told. Though at the same time, I think it's a story that should have been told. I think some of these subjects do need to be explored. And so with that said, if you've continued, I'm guessing you're okay with such subject matter and kind of a horrific story. So with that, let's get started. Tori opened the back door of Wallflower and leaned out to look around. The parking lot behind the string of businesses was cracked concrete faced with crumbling brick walls. Pretty facades were something for the front of the businesses and street traffic, not the back. Deep shadows stretched out toward the few cars left in the parking lot. Finally, she stepped out, closed the door, and locked it. Now it was time for her to walk to her car. She tried to follow her mother's advice, to look confident and walk normally. But the more she thought about the dark, the more nervous she became, and the faster her steps. "Hey there, baby." Tori almost broke and ran when she heard the cheerful male voice. A tall, muscular man stepped out from the shadows to her right. He was wearing a light jacket, black in color, even though the summer night didn't warrant it. With a rolling swagger, he moved in front of her. "I thought you'd never close up tonight." "Listen, Mark, I've already told you 3 times that I'm not interested," she said as she backed away from him. She stopped for a second, then moved suddenly to get around him. Mark stepped into the way, making it clear that such a ploy would not work. Smiling, he shook his head. "And I've told you you're not thinking this through." He moved toward her confidently. That did it. A panicked Tori darted to the side, but Mark laughed and lunged to grab her arm. He swung her around at the wall of the diner, and she hit with a grunt as the air was knocked from her lungs. Mark followed, grabbing her again and bringing her arm up against her back painfully. Pressed between the hard brick and his bulk, she couldn't catch her breath. "Tonight, I'm going to show you what you're going to be getting with me." Growling like an animal, he flicked his tongue along the edge of her ear. Tori tried to sob, but there was nothing in her lungs. She gulped before managing to gasp. "Please don't do this, Mark. Please. I won't tell anyone." Mark just laughed. "Do that some more. I like it when a woman begs." He pulled her back from the wall, but hitched her arm higher behind her and reached around to fumble at her belt and fastening of her jeans. Tori tried to twist and turn to make things more difficult for him, but the pressure on her pinned arm limited how much she could move before pain made her stop. Instead, she took a deep breath, ready to let it out in a scream. "I'll pull it out of socket if I have to, and if you scream, I'll hurt you even more." Deft fingers got her belt unfastened and the snap undone. Tori's free hand beat feebly at Mark's as he unfastened her pants, but he hitched her bound arm higher, sending searing pain through her shoulder, and she stopped. His lips brushed her ear, and he purred as he inched the zipper down. Tori shook with an unvoiced sob and wished something, Anything would happen to stop him. Mark started pushing her pants down, but had barely begun when a sharp sound echoed up the alleyway from Orange Avenue. The sound came again and became identifiable as the sharp clack of boot heels striking concrete. Frustrated, Mark growled, "Everything's fine, do you hear? I have a gun. I'll shoot you and whoever's interrupting our fun." He turned to Tori and said, "Get your pants up." He let her go, straightened up, and did it. He let her go. She straightened up and did her best to fix her appearance in the few seconds they had. The steps came closer, and there was the distinct, acrid smell of cigarette smoke in the air. A dark form approached them, sliding between shadows much as Mark had done. Tall and slender, the figure walked toward them in an unhurried, rolling gait. Orange light flared from the coal of a cigarette as the figure took a drag. When the light lit up the face of the newcomer, Tori's heart raced with hope and dread. "Mom?" And on that note, we'll pause there. We'll pick up next week. And hopefully you're still with me. If you're not, I understand. But hopefully you'll stay with me on this one. Anyway, until next week, until tomorrow, you have a great day. Bye.